Awesome, guys. Please let me know if you guys can hear me out there, and we will get started very shortly. Welcome, everyone. Steven, Carolina's note taker, Othmar. Welcome, guys. Christian Moreno. Welcome, and let me know if you guys can hear me out there. Sounds good. Awesome. Beautiful. So I want to start off this class by talking about two very important things, and we're going to get those things out of the way in the beginning. One of them is confidence, right? Um, it's very important to build your confidence with GitHub and with different repositories. If you guys are not in GitHub just trying to make things work, finding a repository, making it work, then you guys need to do that. Little wins, little things are going to build your confidence, and you're going to be able to grab repos from wherever you guys want and be able to make them work. There's really powerful repos out there that you guys should be using and that you guys will be using throughout your careers as AI engineers or what you guys are planning to do for your business. So that's very important. And yeah, so that's number one, topic number one. Topic number two is obviously going to be building an awesome scraper and a beautiful crawler. That's going to be great. But I also have to mention that with great power comes great responsibility, and scraping. There's ethics to scraping as well too, and scraping information off of websites. So be careful how you're using it. Remember, use it for good ethics. This web scraper we're actually using for educational purposes. So it's something that is very good for us and is good, right? But scraping could also be something that is done for bad. So let's make sure that we're using it for the correct ethical ways, right? So let's start by, I want to start by mentioning two things. Number one is the Crawl for AI repository. So this is the original repository that you're okay. You're here for the class? Yeah. Yeah, well, go ahead. Yes, have a seat. No, you're totally fine. I literally just started right now. You're totally fine. You're totally fine. I just started. If you want, get your computer out, start getting ready. I'm just talking about some of the repositories now. But the first one we're going to talk about is Crawl for AI repository. So this is the original Crawl for AI repository. If you download it into your computer, this is going to do the same thing that we're going to be doing. What I did is I combined two repositories to be able to show you guys different examples of what you can do. And this is something that you guys are going to learn through practice, right? And to be able to just do it. Sometimes you're going to find a repository, you guys are going to download it into your computer and just try to make it work. So I just wanted to mention this because I did use part of this repository to make this work. Another repository that I used is by Coleman00, and it's a repository called Automator Agents. So he has a lot of examples of agents that he has created here. And basically, if you download this repository, you have all of the agents that he has created before, and it's just a matter of getting it, following the guide to make it work. Go ahead.
When you said download, press the button.
We're going to go over that now, right? So there's a couple of ways to be able to bring this into your computer, right? Into your system and download it into your computer. But let's go ahead now into my repository. So if you guys go to my GitHub, and let me just actually add that link to the chat so that everybody out there can also have it. Beautiful. And once you guys are here in my GitHub, you guys can go to repositories, and it's going to be the first one that says Crawl for AI tutorial. Let me know when everybody's in that page, just so that you guys know the correct place. So github.com/Chris Vivas AI, right? Go to repositories, and then is the first one on the list that is there. Yep, repositories, and then is the first one. Once you guys are there, you guys can just click, and we're inside of the repository. Maybe of some hands here, who has worked a little bit with GitHub, knows what they're looking at here? Maybe not, maybe yes. Maybe we start with you. Maybe not. Right? Awesome. Beautiful. What about yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Jose, I know that I know that you are used to it. So, obviously, when you open up a repository, you're gonna go into seeing a couple of things. All the documents and folders that are in the repository. The next thing, if you guys keep scrolling down, usually if it's an organized repository, there is a README file that explains to you what is inside of that repository, right? So we're seeing that now here. So let me just go over what this is. So this is a Miami-Dade College AI student guide for web scraping using Crawl for AI. Like I mentioned before, I combined two repositories together to be able to make this happen. Sorry about that. But welcome to Miami-Dade College AI students. This guide will help you set up a Crawl for AI, an open source web crawler scraper designed for AI applications. By the end of this guide, you will have a working RAG, retrieval augmented generation system that can answer questions about Crawl for AI based on documentation. So this is going to, you guys are basically going to build an expert on the documentation from Crawl AI. So we're working a little bit backwards because we're going to be using Crawl AI, but then we're going to be able to ask, what did we do here, right? We're going to be able to copy and paste code, and we're going to tell it, like, what is it that we used to get to this point? So that's going to be awesome to be able to do that. We're also using an awesome library called Streamlit that is going to help us create a UI or, just a page for us to be able to see the chat fairly easy. Super cool library to be able to use. So before we get started, let's all make sure that we have, number one, Python installed in our computers. I'm pretty sure a lot of people always have that. That's kind of like a basic thing. Basic knowledge of Python programming, just doesn't need to be much, but we're going to go over the files too. An IDE. So if we have VS Code or whatever IDE you guys use, I usually use Cursor because it has AI tools in it. But today I'm going to be using VS Code so that I know most people use VS Code. And a command line and terminal application. So this is something that is, I never really learned using the terminal and using command line first. I just learned how to use VS Code. And I just saw that you were always able to bring a terminal there. Some people love doing it in command line, right? And then opening VS Code and having that. I usually just open VS Code and start working from there. But that's a preference, right? So what will you be building? Today, you're going to create a system that, one, crawls websites and extracts content, stores the content in a Supabase database. This is an awesome product too. I'm not paid by Supabase, but I should be because I talk about it so much. And it's just really great for storing content. It's a database, SQL, a lot of awesome things that you can do there. We're going to create embeddings so that we can do semantic search. So that's very important. And we're going to go over what that means a little bit later. And we're going to provide a Streamlit interface that is going to have the chat, right? So we're actually going to be able to see a chat and ask questions there. Any questions before I move on to anything else? Before we start the step-by-step guide on how to make this work. Any questions? Let me see if you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat as well too. But any questions before I start? Not here. Beautiful. We're good. So let's go with step number one. And that means clone your repository, right? So that's actually, so it's set for OpenAI. This demo is set with OpenAI. If you don't have an OpenAI API key, I am going to provide my own today, and you guys are going to be able to use it. Obviously, after the demo, I am going to take it down because I know that you guys will use all of my credits there. But yes, I'll be able to provide you that key, Othmar. And but again, this is something that eventually you can use your expert that you're building to ask it how to change it to another LLM, right? Something that could be easily done too. But now you have an expert that's going to be able to help you. So I will provide that API key for you guys today. So don't worry about that. Beautiful. So cloning the repository. So what does that mean, right? You asked me, download, what am I doing there, right? So you're basically downloading, right, the whole folder structure in all of my files inside of my repository to your machine. That's what I mean about cloning the repository. We're basically downloading into our machine. Two ways to do that. One of them, you need to have Git installed in your computer. If you guys have Git, then you guys can run this command. But to make it easy, we're just going to go to the top of the repository, we're going to click where it says code, and we're going to download the zip. So super easy. We don't need to open the command line. We don't need to do none of that stuff. So basically we just open up, we just download a repository. Question. So forking, it means that I am actually creating another path on that repository where I'm making changes on your own, and then you need to feed them back to the main fork for them to be accepted, right? This, I'm just downloading it onto my computer. I'm not creating a fork at this point, right? And remember that when you fork something, you also need to ask permission to the person of the repository as well, right? You're creating a fork, and then if you want to merge that fork back to the main file, you need to ask permission. Hey, are the changes that I did good to be able to bring them back to your original repository? Yes or no, and then that person will accept it or not, right? So that's the difference between those. But basically, downloaded that zip, and now we have it in our downloads folder. So I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to extract it, and I'm going to extract it to my desktop just for easiness. Here we go, select it, and we're going to extract it. Depending on your machine, this may take some time, but I see that you have an awesome machine. Everybody here has really awesome machine, so it should be fairly fast. Beautiful. So now you have this folder on your desktop, right? Or you should have this folder on your desktop. And let me know if I am moving too fast, or if you guys are okay with my speed, and if you guys are all in the same process now. Everybody good? Oh, go ahead. Then I'll give you some time, and I'll speak a little bit more in there. So now that we have that folder, right? We just downloaded the folder into the desktop. Let's just open the file, the folder, and you guys are going to see we have a lot of files and folders in there. If I go back to my GitHub, it's the same thing that we're seeing here. So basically, download that are there, including that README file. Down. Including that README file. That is what you guys see below. That has all the step-by-step guide. So you guys, just in case you guys don't want to go back to the repository on GitHub, you guys also have that there. Let's see. So yes, so we downloaded our folder there, right? So let me close this in here. Let me show you guys that now that folder is in my desktop. Beautiful. The next step is to open up your IDE. So let's go and let's look for VS Code, and let's open up VS Code. Once you're there, it already recognized that that was a folder because I was working on it before. But just to open up that folder, you guys will go to File, Open Folder, go to your desktop, and select the folder that we just downloaded. Once you select it, it will open it up on your VS Code. And let me know if we're all there. And let me check, make sure to check the chat just to see that everybody's good in there. Let's see, let's give a second to Othmar. I know he's typing something. Maybe he has a question. We are not seeing here. Jose, are you guys able to see the screen on your end? We didn't see that step. Okay, let's go back. Let me close VS Code. We're going to do that step one more time. So I'm just going to open up VS Code, right? So just basically. We're still on GitHub. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, let me, yep, that is not a good thing. So let me stop sharing it, and I'm going to share it one more time. Okay, I'm going to share this, and all right, Windows screen. Okay, yeah, screen, and here we go. Beautiful. So now we're in the desktop, right? So I have my folder that we downloaded in my desktop. I already extracted everything. All my files are there. So next step is to open up VS Code. Like I mentioned before, it already opened up with my file in there. But if you guys need to open up that folder, you guys are going to go to File, open folder, select the folder that is in your desktop, should be named Crawl for AI tutorial MDC AI main, and we're going to select that folder. Beautiful. Now, I basically imported all of my files that are there. I know that this is basic for some, but I'm trying to just do a guide for everybody. So if we're looking at these different files, there's some different files that are there. Important files are .env. That's where we're going to be putting our API keys. And then we're going to look at this a little bit later into the project. And like I was mentioning to Jose before also, I am a very cheap person. So just using Crawl for AI is free if you're running it on your machine. So I love things that are free. I love using products that are free. So this is a cool thing about it. It's free, no account needed. You know, just Crawl for AI. Once we're doing the rack chat and things like that, then we do need to bring a couple of things which we're going to talk about. But if you're just scraping and crawling websites, you can use Crawl for AI free. As long as your machine can run it, it will run. So this is the awesome thing about these libraries. And this is the awesome thing about a lot of the tools that are in GitHub. They are free if you're able to download them into your computer and make them work. So use it. Free is awesome. So beautiful. I'm going to go back to my steps in here. So we did step number 1, clone the repository. So now we are in the repository and we're inside of that folder because that's the folder that we selected to open. So we already did those two. The CD to Crawl for AI folder also, we did that already. The next thing is setting up a virtual environment. And maybe I'm going to pick on someone here. Jose, why is it important to set up a virtual environment, right? Like, right. Awesome. That's a really good answer. And also, when you have multiple versions of libraries in your computer installed, you want to create a virtual environment. So you tell it like, only this version, I want it to be running in my virtual machine. If not, you will have different Python versions, different libraries that we're using here that are not supposed to be, and that might conflict with your project. So that's why it's important for the first thing to do is to create a virtual environment. So I'm going to copy that first line of code. And I see most of you guys here have PC. So I'm going to use that first line of code. This is how you guys create a virtual environment. So once we're here, I'm going to go into my menu and I'm going to open up a terminal. Right? Yep. That text is in step 2. It's the first code that says set up for virtual environment for Windows. So just copy that Python file. Yes. Step 2. In VS, it will be also on README. You can also check it out there. Obviously, I'm just going back and forth to the. Yep. So if you're here on the top, you're going to see a menu. Mine are hidden here, but if you open up here, you're going to see terminal and you're going to click new terminal. And then that's going to open up the terminal in the bottom of your screen. Yep. Let me know when everybody is there. And yes, so we're going to run the code there. So basically, since we copied that code, we're going to bring it in here. One thing to practice is that this code is standard to generate a virtual environment always. So if you want to practice your muscle memory, it's always Python -m venv, and then the name that you want to assign to that virtual environment. Go ahead. Just one, just the first one. Yeah, just the first. So that's how you create a virtual environment, right? Just with that one line, you're creating a virtual environment. And again, I'm just going to go over that one more time. So I'm using Python -m venv, and then I see Crawl for AI. That's the name that I'm giving to the virtual environment. So you can assign a name to it. So I copied and pasted the code, and I'm just going to click enter. The terminal is the top in your menu. Oh, you click the 3 dots and it says terminal, new terminal. Beautiful. So I ran that command, right? And then now I click the new line. That means that there was no errors, everything went fine. So now we're okay. So we still are not inside of our virtual environment, or we still have not activated our virtual environment. So that's the second line that you guys see there in the repo. Yeah. Yes. So if you guys are getting that pop-up, it basically means that you guys are selecting the folder that you guys are in for it to be what is inside of that virtual environment. So let's click yes on that. Yeah. Beautiful. So now we're going to go into that second line that is there. And so I'm going to copy that second line. And I'm going to come back to VS Code. And I'm going to paste it. So what is this doing? So now I'm selecting my virtual environment, which is created. And I'm using a script to activate it, right? So we're going to activate that virtual environment. Just copy and paste it. Awesome. How do I know that now I am inside of my virtual environment, right? Now, anywhere in the terminal, you guys are going to see that the virtual environment name is going to be before the folder where you guys are in. You guys see that? What did you guys get? Yeah, we all got some memory. Yes, error. Beautiful. Give me a second. Disabled on this system. Running scripts is disabled on the system. Yep. So that means that we need to, and this is going to happen, right? So this is something that will happen. Does anybody have a ChatGPT or LLM account here? Yeah. Let's copy that code and let's paste it onto ChatGPT and tell us and see the whole red. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure we're missing a little key part of something that is there, since I already have some of those scripts ready in my machine. Is going to do it, but we're going to look at that now and see why we're getting that error. And I'm pretty sure maybe some of you on the video are also getting that error. Please let us know in the comments if you guys are. And change the policy. Let me see, because to allow scripts. Okay, give me a second. Let's see. Because we should also be able to run. Okay. Would you be able to copy that onto the chat, Jose, that the response that you got from ChatGPT, so that I can just follow that here with you guys? And this is what I was talking about in the beginning. This is how you build confidence. You have to fail. An error has to happen, and you just got to figure it out, right? We got to move on and we got to figure it out. So beautiful. Thank you.
Sorry, I stumbled on
Nice,
that.
nice. So we're going to open up PowerShell in administrator, right? Right click, PowerShell. Beautiful. If it runs restricted, that is why you're getting the error. Set execution policy to allow to run scripts, and then this should solve the issue. Beautiful. Okay. And we would do that. Okay, awesome. So we're going to look here for our PowerShell. Yep. Yep. Start menu, right click. Yes, right here. PowerShell. Right here. If you guys don't see that, you guys can also right click it and click run as administrator as well too. Yeah, Windows PowerShell. So we're going to open that up. It's going to ask us, do you want to make changes? And we're going to say yes, so that we can actually open it. And let me close this here. Yeah. So now the code that is in the comment here, that is this set execution restricted scope, right? So we're going to copy that first one, and I'm going to just copy and paste it in the chat, so you guys have that as the last message. So that is how we're gonna set that restricted scope to the current user. Yes, let's run that. Beautiful. What do you guys get once you guys run that code? Let's go yes to all. Jose, you were also getting that error too?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Beautiful. And then the next thing is to then activate the virtual environment, but we are going to have to CD onto that folder that we're in. So this is what we're going to do. Beautiful. So all of you guys are in that step. You guys already did that first one. Or are you still opening your PowerShell?
Yeah. Just you had to run. Okay. We did. What would be no, it's that we needed to be was just a call of the AI. It's in the personal level. Yeah.
So the next code that we would have to run to fix that would be to come into, yes. And so we're going to need to CD, right? We're going to need to go into the folder to be able to activate, because the next thing is just to activate that virtual environment, right? But right now we're in a different folder. Some of you guys I saw were in Windows folder. Some of you guys are in a different folder. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to where we have that folder. We're going to right click it and we're going to click copy as path. So we're going to copy the path of the folder. Oh my God, it just started raining so crazy. Right? Let me know when you guys are there. Then we're going to come back to our machine. Yeah, go ahead. To our PowerShell. Yep. We're going to write CD, and then we're going to paste that, just paste. Yeah. Oh yeah, CD space, and then copy the path. And I think that we might have to remove those. Yeah, we had to remove those quotations. So give me a second. Let me just try to do that one more time. Change it. Beautiful. And we just click enter. So once we do that, now you guys can change where we are now, right? So we are inside of the folder. In there, let's run that activate. Let's see that crawl for AI activate script now. And I'm going to put it again in the chat. It's that last one that is there. Let me know what you guys. Oh, sorry. It should be this one. And let's click enter. And tell me what you guys see when that happens.
We.
You guys got a green. Beautiful. The same. Oh. So you got it.
Okay. But that's not your actual. Right?
Yeah, no. Change. I think directory.
Oh, you know,
This one. So after me, then it would be the same thing would be active with this one, right?
Yeah. That
And more than. But what with this?
yeah, you were there.
That's
Okay.
that's the
Really there, no, just take it.
Yeah, nice.
Porque magkakaiba. Windows was pero no. Se puede, acá es llegar primero a skin. Let's copy and paste this code and use ChatGPT, and we'll see what it tells us there. That is very strange.
The entire.
Just the red.
Oh, the footprint.
So we have it running in one machine. We're still waiting for the rest of you guys. Let's make sure that inside of your PS also running here. So try to run that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's close this PowerShell. Let's open up the meeting. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Should I start at the first step again?
No, because you already have that created, so you should be fine. It was weird that I wasn't getting that error from here. See, what did it tell you to do?
You need to know it?
PowerShell update.
Tirada de electrónicos.
Okay. Got the create command to go after it. Okay. Did you get it working on your? Yes, I'm
Yeah.
Also, would you be able to help him? Yeah, see if you can help him.
Maybe we can, let's just hope you get it there.
No, I'm not.
That's the code that's only two.
Right, that's what,
Then I said that it didn't work.
Right.
Why I put there.
and then.
It's check it.
Set up some.
It doesn't. Index creator already works.
Right.
So this is the. You just paid for it? Yeah.
And when we open the PowerShell, make sure you're best administrator.
Yeah.
And so.
I'm gonna probably try it again. This is.
Oh, yeah.
Unlimited photo.
No, I don't. It is almost exactly. And.
So it's maybe like going back and then running inside.
This.
They said it.
That's what it's saying.
You really do this.
Yeah, I'm without the entire.
This
It's just the way we have.
right.
We have without the.
Okay. Para understand
So maybe running the entire.
Yeah, can we try to figure that out?
Yeah.
This.
So that's fine.
Ready? Say
Maybe, changing that to the directory, right?
yeah, that's right. Let's get that. Yeah. Let's remove that.
I mean, it's fair.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, the only first,
Yeah, run the PowerShell without using it as administrator. And so it didn't work. But now we run it as administrator and now it's.
I'm asking, so you should know those.
So let's just get going and then we'll move on to. Yeah. Yeah.
When you're ready, you have to answer what you're down. When you leave it back. Yeah. It's also because of the. Maybe without connected that over.
I think I'm not going to recording. Yeah, so you got one plus stress. You can see it the provider voice. Dapat kaya is going to some shallows. And so it was said this one. No, this is something we understand. And it's going to be good. Here, that windows will be the last thing here. Let's run the terminal. That's fine. Let's run the terminal and let's run again Python dash that in there.
And it's supposed to be.
First we need to create it, right? And we need to do the thing. Here, it's this one. Okay, beautiful. It's creating it. Right, it was that. We were in the wrong folder.
It has two folders.
It doesn't. I don't know why it did that for years. Usually it was one folder. And then it's trying to activate it. Okay, so now let's do that. So then we need to get it. So we have new language. Let's be sure that this is going to be this. And let's see it. Somebody and then they stay out and then just think she is. And now this trial, you very proper without yours. Yeah, no, I'm still going to double again. Okay, so let's try to run the Space from traveling students and we now that's it. Yeah. Both as AI, a lab. Yes. Blessing to get them into that. Okay. Yeah. So it's Yes. Because we can still continue to do it without activating the environment, but I'm just a little bit afraid that it might cause errors. Is anybody else in the chat will say good, or are they also having trouble?
No, it's after yours.
There's no chance.
No, everybody seems to be in there.
Is
Is everybody okay in the chat, or do they need help with anything while we're here working with the people that are in person here, making sure they're all up to speed?
Yeah, lots of. There's a bit of, let's, that's one to. The need for the should, it's a store. From then back then, so we get probably it's change. It doesn't. Should have set up your process forward. Without this meeting. This means to have low sitting here. Into low sitting in all the way. She says. Stephen. You have to give version Chinese.
Yeah.
How do you use screenshots? First. It's a control.
And you want to do, screenshot also do the, which, you want to put the sleeping tool?
Yes. So. Sorry guys, wrong relational with the
Copy this.
just select this and let's add back to. If not, we move on without you giving them a virtual environment, then we'll fix any errors. And then now let's go back to ChatGPT, let's copy. Let's upload that picture. Okay, let's get to. And increase. Let's follow this and let's try to do it as we continue here. Okay,
Okay, sure.
Awesome. Sorry about that, guys. Like I mentioned, things are gonna happen, right? And sometimes you're gonna fix them, sometimes you're not, but you can always go home and reset and try it again. So if we're all, well, most of us are all in this section, right?
Yes.
Okay, you guys are here. Beautiful. Did you guys go forward already in some steps, or you guys waited? Beautiful. Awesome. So if we go back to this area, now we are ready for the next step. So we already activated our virtual environment there. The next thing will be to run and install some of the packages that we need, right? So in step number 3, we're going to run that first line. Pip install crawl for AI. So we're going to go ahead, copy that code, come back again in your terminal and paste it and enter it. What did you get?
This was sliding. Well, you know, like, copy this one. Yeah.
Let's do that. So let's.
Awesome. So what is happening here, right? So a bunch of the packages that we need for this project, just for Crawl for AI to run, are being installed. And we can just look a little bit of what's happening, and we see a couple of things like Playwright, very important file that we're going to be using this. We're going to be using, let me see what else here, Markdown. This is going to be also important, and we're going to go over that as well too. And a couple of other packages that we needed. But did we all get successful? Beautiful. So now we're going to install a couple of other packages that we need for the second part of the thing. I know I have that all in one line to be able to install all of these packages, but let's do them one by one so that we make sure that they're getting installed correctly. So first, let's go with pip install Streamlit. So we're just going to go copy that first part and go pip install Streamlit by itself. And let's click enter. Oh, you still, okay, sorry. We can wait a little bit more for you.
Yes. I'll go yes. So let's try just to be able to let's try. Yeah, so let's try that.
Streamlit is one and
But
Streamlit is one, right? And so if you're done installing that one, then the next one is going to be the same thing, pip install Supabase. Yes? And then the last one. I just wanted you guys to do them separately so that we make sure that we don't get any errors and we can move on to the next step. So let's try to go ahead and without having a virtual environment, let's try to install. Also, let's go to step number 3 and run the first there. Okay, so I installed Streamlit, right? So now I'm going to do the same thing for Supabase. So pip install Supabase. And we're going to be installing some of those packages that are going to allow us to do certain things. We get a successful success message. That's great. And now we're going to do the last one, pip install Logfire. Awesome. Is everybody it's that or on the first
On the brief,
yeah, it's better to go to yeah, and stop the first line. Yeah, problem. So are you guys there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and install Logfire, and once we're done with that, and we'll wait for him for a second. We're just having a little trouble with his machine, but we should be okay. And after this step, we're just gonna make sure that our installation setup is correctly, and then just test the installation and make sure that we're successful on there. And we are ready to actually run our first test. And then make sure that we are already crawling. In step 3, yes, in step 3, we're still gonna do a couple of things. Are you there already?
And installation set.
Yes, the post installation setup. So we're gonna copy that line of code. We're gonna come back to our terminal. We're gonna paste it.
the whole in pro.
Yeah. And then this one, give it a go.
Study
and stop. Stop. So, also, we're being sure to figure.
Yes.
Awesome. Did you guys run that? Didn't run? Yeah, it's going to take some time. It's actually setting up a couple of things in your project. So just there.
Yeah, and then
Beautiful. So you guys should see that there's a successful completion here. So this is setting up a couple of things on the back end of this project to be able to get you going. But if you guys get successful, you guys are good to go. The next thing is to run that doctor script, Crawl for AI Doctor. What this is going to do, this is going to check and make sure that you guys have all of the packages installed that we need and all of the folders, everything that is there. This is going to check that for us. And it's going to give us either a success or a failed message.
What do they call it? Lot?
That's why I got the doctor.
and
Beautiful. Everybody's good in there. You guys are good. Not yet. He's still waiting. Let's wait for a second. We're also, he's catching up with us now too. And we're good. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Go faster. Let me know when you have your success message, okay? Yeah, I know. Awesome, Jose. I can tell who has the best machine of how fast, because you know. The competition is going. Beautiful.
Hey,
Success?
yeah.
Beautiful. He's catching up with us, but I'm helping him as you guys go. Okay. So now we're gonna look into our folders and we're gonna open up the folder that says crawl for AI dash expert, right? So let's open up and see. I have a couple of files. Just you guys should see a test file, Streamlit, crawl for AI expert, and crawl for AI docs. Yes, see that.
yes,
Awesome. Let's open up that test Python script. Yep.
yes.
Okay, the other, yes. Yes, let's open up the test file. And I'm gonna minimize this a little bit. So this is something that we're gonna get used to. Are we awesome? We're all there. Beautiful. So this is something that we're gonna get used to, right? What are we seeing here? That's a bunch of Python code, right? And we understand some things. We understand that we're importing some libraries, importing some of those packages that we're creating. Then we see a function, a main function that is doing something. Then we see an async function that is doing something as well. But the one thing that I want you guys to focus for right now is that you guys see a URL here, right? That's the most important thing to know, right? So this is telling our crawler that this is the URL that I want you to go and crawl.
Okay.
And we're gonna then copy and paste this code into our assistant, and we're gonna explain to us literally line by line what all of this means. But first of all, I just want you guys to check that this is the URL that we're using. This can be changed to anything. You can change it to a dentist website. You can change it to Fox News. You can change it to whatever type of news you want or whatever type of URL you want, and it will scrape that information. So once we have a Python script open, and I'm just gonna bring back my terminal. The easiest way to run a Python script is if you're inside of the Python script, right here on the top of VS Code, you guys have a play button that says run Python script. Let's press that button and see what happens. Awesome. What do you guys see? Same as me. Beautiful. So let's make that terminal a little bit bigger and let's scroll all the way to the top. Yep. What did you? And you just second here. Some cache. Okay.
I'm gonna do the block.
Oh, yes. Nice.
Folder. So let's do this over here. Let's see to the about the AI dash expert. And then let's do Python. The name test the test file. I think it works fine as well. Yeah, Python space test that.
See now if it runs for you.
Yeah.
Yep. Beautiful. Awesome. So
Also, can you make sure that you have it written exactly how it's there?
yeah, so it's not reading that module for you. And when you ran everything else, it gave you a complete and passed on the doctor too, right? Yeah. Yep.
So when you're running it,
Yeah, when I ran it, it actually opened it up in another window for me.
are you going to die? Let's put it, just a second. Stop. Check it. Let's run again for the AI-7. Oh, sorry. We need to go back to so Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Spacing, what? It's called different, right? It's kind of scroll and 40%. Different story, right? That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, can we just try to copy and paste that the one to, on the check in case you, if it tells us something, just.
Yeah, I'll turn this over.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay. Are you still doctor? Right. Okay. So once you run that script, and I know that you already got that to this point,
Yeah.
what did you get here? Right. So this is markdown that came from that NBC News website. So if I go into NBC.com, oh, actually I had it right there. So this is this is actually the website that we were crawling right now, and you guys see it's news about artificial intelligence. There's different news in here, and if we go into that markdown, you guys are gonna see a lot of different URLs. So basically, this is scraping everything that is in there, and we're looking at the top files. All the pages are in there, but if we scroll down a little bit, we're gonna see here that it says hashtag artificial intelligence, the latest news and top stories on artificial intelligence. And then we go here, artificial intelligence, the latest news and top stories. So we are scraping all of that information. And in the top of our markdown, it told us how long it took. It actually took 3 seconds to scrape all of the information in that page. And it actually took all of the different URLs that are in there, is providing you what the news stories are about, and it's actually providing you the URL. So why is this important and how can you use this? If I copy all of this information and I go into my ChatGPT account, for example, and I paste all of that markdown in there and I tell it, give me a summary of all the news and in this markdown content. LLMs love to read markdown. They are able to understand it. They're able to look at it and look, it's already creating us just a little summary of what it's created for us. But obviously, just this alone is not powerful enough, right? Because we can just go to that page and be able to grab this information. The important thing is for it to continue to do it with other links. So what if I wanted it to just go to every single link in NBC.com and be able to give me then that information that is in there? That is something else, right? That is actually it going, opening a browser, clicking onto the link, scraping that information, and then saving it for you. But before we can do that step, we need somewhere to store this information. Jose, are you? Yeah, you're good. Awesome. So we need somewhere to store this information. This is where Supabase comes into place, and that is our step number 4, right? Step number 4 is setting up a Supabase account. Does anybody have a Supabase account already? Have you guys used it before in the past? You just did it now. How quick was it to just set up the account? 30 seconds. Beautiful. So Jose, it should take you also, I'm going to say 20 seconds with your machine.
Chris, this was excellent. Is there a way
Beautiful.
that
So Supabase, like I mentioned before, I should be paid by them because I promote it so much. But it's because I really love that service. And it has a free tier. So it lets you use a lot of databases and a lot of storage without charging you. Again, I'm going to say it. I love free stuff. And I love when people offer free tiers of things. So definitely a really powerful tool. And you guys are going to see how powerful it actually is once we start using it now. So once you set up your account and your project, it's going to usually take you to a dashboard. Where are you at? Beautiful. Jose, let me know when you're there. Yeah, create organization. And once you have an organization, you guys are going to see a green button on the top, and we're going to say create new project. We're going to select whatever organization you chose, and it's going to open up to this new project section. So we're going to give our project a name. We're going to go ahead and call it, I'm going to call it Crawl for AI Video. You guys can call it whatever you guys want. That doesn't really matter. The next thing is to give it a password. So we're just going to give it whatever password. Usually, if you guys are working with very sensitive information, you want that password to be strong so that nobody can tap into your database. So, but for this, we should be okay. And we're going to go ahead and create a new project. Awesome. Once you guys begin to create this new project, you guys are going to see now you're in the dashboard of your project that you created. On the right-hand side, you guys are going to see a couple of things: table editor, SQL editor, database, authentication, storage. So Supabase offers a lot of services, and one of them is authentication as well. So if you're building an application, you can actually set up authentication with them too. It's fairly easy to use, and all of it gets managed through API. So that's what's awesome about Supabase too. You just put an API URL and information, and you're going to be able to use all of their services, not just authentication, but storage and also database and table creation. So let's go to the SQL editor. In here, so pretty simple. It's a place where you can run SQL code. And I have already created the SQL code for you here in step number 4. So go ahead to that area and copy that code right on the right-hand side and go back to your Supabase SQL area editor. And let's paste that code in there. The whole thing. Yes.
Hello, Papa.
So what are we doing here, right? So I mentioned to you guys, we're going to begin to scrape information, but where is that information going to go? It's not, we can't store all of that information in our computer. And if we do store it in our computer, it's only going to work when we're running it locally. What if we want to move this application to, to the cloud, right? So it needs to be somewhere. So we're going to start, we're going to save that information into a table. So what are we doing here? And I don't, this, another class, SQL is something else, right? But just looking a little bit at what this is creating, let's see what it's creating. So it's creating an extension that is called vector. Okay, that's the first line of code. It's creating a table, create table, that is called site pages, which is different information in the table. And then it's creating a couple of things, indexes. We're talking about embedding. And obviously that's how you grab information and you're able to put it into a vector storage. So we're creating embeddings, we're creating vector cosine, which is basically how we do semantic search. We're doing cosine comparison into it. Like I said, high level stuff, that we can go into, but for now, we're just gonna copy and paste that SQL code, and we're gonna click run in the bottom. So everything can run, and at the bottom, if you guys get no error here, it's a success. Everything has been created. Beautiful. Nice. So what did we do, right? Let's go back to our side panel and let's click on that table editor. Once we're there, we're going to see the site pages table. Let's click on that. So now we start seeing what we are creating here. We have an ID column. We have a URL column. We have a chunk number column, title, summary, content, metadata, embeddings, right? And that's our vector storage. So we successfully created a whole table with this code, right? But what else did we do? We also, let's go here to the database. And then this is going to allow us to visualize our database schema. So this is the same thing that you guys were looking at. Update, URL, chunk number. This is the information that is going to be scraped and is going to be added to this information here. If you guys look into functions here, right on the left-hand side, you guys are going to see some of the functions that we're doing. So here's where we're actually running that cosine distance, all of the things that how vectors communicate, right? And how we're able to extract information from it. So basically what we're doing here is once we, let's say we ask a specific question about the documentation, these functions are going to go look into all of our data and make sure that it matches. Oh, you're talking about green? I see green in my data here, and I'm going to grab that and I'm going to bring it for you. So this is basically what these functions are doing. It's a lot of functions that allow us to do that in a database, but these are also functions that are already set in Supabase. So we just need to tell it to be able to bring these functions and use them. So very powerful. That's why Supabase is great. We didn't create them. We just told Supabase that we needed to use them, right? Because Supabase already has them there, right? So that's what that code did. Beautiful. And then let's look in here, and then everything else is okay. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys see that that code created this stuff, and that's pretty much it. Awesome. So now the next step. Beautiful. So the next step here is to get an OpenAI API key, right? Yeah. So how many of you guys have access to an OpenAI API key? You have. Beautiful. Jose, you have access to an OpenAI API? Beautiful. I'll create one. So again, this is also outside of the scope of this tutorial, but you can go to OpenAI Playground and be able to get an API key. I'm going to provide you guys with one today from me. So you guys can use this and go ahead with the project. Here we go. So I'm going to go to my settings. I'm going to, yeah. Oh, yeah. So go to OpenAI Playground, right? Go to your settings, go down to API keys. We're going to create a new secret. Oh, sorry. Let me actually copy the link to that. OpenAI Playground. Copy link. And I'm going to add that to the chat. Okay, I added that to the chat there. Go back here. Awesome. So this is how you create an OpenAI API key. Like I said, this is outside of this project, but we can just do it. Crawl for AI. That's what I'm going to name my API. And I'm going to say create key. Again, be very careful when you guys are putting out your API keys out there. I'm sharing mine with you guys today, but obviously know that anybody after you share that key has access to that, and they will be able to use it and run it on your credits. So be careful. So I just copied it and I'm going to drop it into the chat so that anybody there can use it. So it's on the chat now. Beautiful, but I'm going to copy it and we're going to go back to our VS Code. And for now, I'm going to close this terminal. So now we're going to open up this .env template file. The first thing that we're going to do here is, number one, this is not going to communicate with the rest of our library or the rest of our project if we don't remove the template again. The environment file usually is just a .env. So let's right click on this and then let's rename it and let's delete that last template and that last dot. It should just be .env file and let's click enter. Are you doing it? Now you're cut up. So on the chat, I already put on the OpenAI API key. You can grab that. And we're gonna paste it into here. Oh, you're not, oh, sorry. How can I share that with you? In the team,
WhatsApp?
you're not in the team, oh, in the WhatsApp, yep. Would you guys be able to share it to WhatsApp? Because I don't have WhatsApp here on my computer. Thank you. The OpenAI key to WhatsApp, yes. So yeah, let's make sure to change that .env file. And then in where it says OpenAI key, we're gonna click on that and we're gonna paste our key in there. And then we're gonna save. Beautiful. So what other information do we need now? So we need our Supabase URL and our Supabase service. This is what's gonna communicate Supabase with our project, right? And tell it that we're gonna send that information over there, and that every time that our chat hits, is gonna look at that information that Supabase account. So I'm gonna show you guys now where you guys can get that information. Beautiful. So we're done here. We'll go back. So once you guys are in your Supabase account, you guys are gonna go here to. Oh man. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. Maybe email. Yeah, could you come here and type in your email here real quick? Don't be scared. There's no camera in here. Yeah, please do. You can come here. And then just type in your email here so that I can actually copy and paste that for you. Here you go. Awesome. Yeah, oh, sorry about that. Here we go. Next, okay, we are done with that. So yes, so the next thing is to get our Supabase information, right? So we're going to go to back to Supabase. And on the left-hand side, we're gonna go where it says project settings. So let's go to that menu, project settings. And here is gonna give us all of the information to be able to communicate with Supabase. The first one is, oh, sorry. Then we're gonna go into configuration and it says data API. Beautiful. So what do you guys see there, right? So project URL, that's one of the APIs that, or one of the keys that we need to insert in there, right? So let's copy that. Let's go back to our project and we're going to copy. Sorry, yeah. So it's right-hand side, project settings, right? And then once you're there, data API under configuration. And you guys should see your URL there. Let me see. That's totally fine. So let's copy your URL and let's paste that into VS Code on that section. Beautiful. That it gets dropped there. And now we need the service key. So if we go back to Supabase, we see that the service key is here. You need to reveal it first to be able to copy it. Then we're going to go ahead, go back to our env file and paste it there. Yeah, it's usually very long. And then the last thing that we need to tell it and I know there was a question about it. Which LLMs can I use? So since we already have our OpenAI API, we have access to any OpenAI LLM, correct? Or any OpenAI model. But GPT-4o, me specifically, is amazing, and I love it because one, it's cheap, and I already said that I love cheap stuff and I love free stuff. And number two is really good. It's a really good model, right? It's a smaller model, but it's a really good model for any thing that you do. It has a lot of capabilities, so that's what we're going to use. So now let's type in their GPT-4o-mini. This is what is going to tell the project that we're using that LLM for our project. Beautiful. Yep, and then Control S or save your file there. Let's go back to our project. So we are complete now with step number 6, which is to create those environment variables and to put them in our .env file. Yeah, step number 6. Right? We already did all of those. We actually skipped a little bit into step number 7. This was the first file that we read, but I just wanted to actually skip that to show you guys that we did not have to pay anything for that problem. Sim, are you with us now?
They're running yet, like I said, API defined.
Yes.
So,
That's the first. Okay. Yeah, good. So this is the file that I'm going to learn for see for me a fucking version. Then choose in there. That's so now yes, you did without that, your file was nice. Oh, okay, so now let's say you can burn the here, and then you add a little bit permission for space. See. Are you with us on saying that? Yeah. Yep. Beautiful.
the other information from the different.
The other information, Supabase stuff is in your Supabase account. Let me show you again how to get to that. Give us 1 second. He's almost caught up. Let me just catch him up and then we'll be good to go. So once you are in your project, right, that you created, let me see, where did I put mine? Crawl for AI. You're going to go onto project settings on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, I'm sorry. Project settings. You're going to go to data API, which is under configuration. On the left-hand side menu, you're also going to see data API on the bottom. Yep, beautiful. And then you're going to see URL. That is your URL that you're going to copy and paste into that section. Awesome. And then the next thing is the service role key, which you're going to see is a secret in red under. You reveal it, copy it, and paste it onto your .env file. Awesome. And then the last thing is to the LLM. Yeah, GPT-4o -mini. Beautiful. So now we're all in the same page. So why did I run this step number 7 before again? I just want to show you guys that we were not using any APIs to do this. Your computer was running this on its own, and we were able to already extract that information. So super powerful. So now we are actually in step number 8. That's why it's a test, right? I should move that up into that test area. So now we're actually going to run the crawler that is going to crawl our documentation page, and we're going to look at that now, and it's going to extract that information and save it into our Supabase already. So this is a really powerful script. So before we do that, let me just go into that crawl for AI documentation page for you guys to see how it looks. So this is a standard documentation page, right? And let me make it a little bit smaller so you guys can see it a little bit better. You guys have a menu on the side. And then once I click that menu, it has the dynamic content appear on the right. So imagine if I was trying to extract this information manually. I would have to go into each one of those clicks, copy that information, save it, right? That's a that's a big task, and that's a lot of stuff, And usually, I recommend for people to get into documentation and reading the documentation and understanding it, because it's gonna expand your knowledge on the tool. It's actually gonna show you a lot of things. But today we're creating an assistant that's gonna help us with that, right? That doesn't mean that we shouldn't read documentation, but now we have something else that can help us with it. So how do I know and how do I tell Crawl for AI that I need to crawl all of those URLs, right? Because each time that I select one, you guys can see, oh, sorry, not that one. Each time that I select one of these, you guys see that the URL changes, right? It's not .com and that's it now, core and then simple crawling, right? So there's a lot of URLs within that one page. So a very cool trick and something that a lot of it will, if you are doing proper website building, you add a sitemap to your website, right? That basically, and you can enter that with sitemap.xml at the end of any URL in a website, and it's going to open up and it's going to tell you all of the URLs that are inside the page. So why is this good? Why is it good to do this? When you're properly building a website, you put a sitemap so you can communicate with Google and you tell it that you have all of these pages. All of this awesome content is there, right? So that's how we're gonna get it. And now that we look at that script, we're gonna see why it's important to be able to do that. Because if we just copy that one URL, right, and we tell Crawl AI to go and crawl that URL, it's gonna crawl only the information on that main page, and it's not gonna crawl any of the other ones, right? So that's why we do that. So now let's go into the Crawl for AI docs file. Make this a little smaller too. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, you're cut up with us now. Beautiful. Nice. Awesome. So now we are in this step, right? We're looking at look at our documents. Again, if we look at this Python, we may understand some of it, we may not understand some, but that's why our assistants are going to be so powerful. So we are importing some libraries. We're activating our clients, which is basically activating Supabase and OpenAI, letting this script know that it has access to those tools, right? So we're letting them know, hey, you have access to OpenAI key, you have access to Supabase, right? Supabase, sorry. And then we're creating a database class, right? Or data class. This should be familiar, right? This is the same things that we created in Supabase before, right? So we're basically telling our script like, hey, all of this information is coming, and you already know where to store it, right? Because Supabase has already that information. If we keep going down, there's a lot of other stuff, which is chunking, how we're going to be chunking that information. And then it has a lot of comments already there. So if you guys want to go through that script and read those comments, I would suggest it so you guys can start understanding that. But I want to scroll down. Another important thing, there's a system prompt. We're telling OpenAI, we're calling OpenAI and telling it, hey, you're an AI expert at extracting titles and summaries from documentation pages. So we are already telling it, we're already using OpenAI within this script to help it be an expert crawler, right? An expert extractor. There's some things that is happening here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Down, down, down. So this was part of that other code. I added a little bit of code for it to do some of the chunking because I use different numbers for the chunking, but I did not write all of this code. I messed with it a little bit for mine. That's the one that I put together from a couple of places. Correct. Yeah. And that is the confidence that you will get eventually, right? Because there will be some repos where you really like that uses Crawl AI. Bring it into this folder. You can copy and paste any other repo that you find that is doing something with Crawl AI into this project, and it will work because you already have everything installed in it. So you'll be able to do that. That's what I did here, right? And I just installed a couple of other things like Supabase, for example. So now let's go down here. And this is where I want us to look at. So proper AI URLs. So we're not only using just the .com, we're using the sitemap, right? We're adding this. So let's say we go to documentation of Identity or another tool. It's going to be here, docs.identity.com/sitemap. That's how we're going to tell the crawler that we want to do crawling and scraping on all of those URLs in the sitemap, not just one, right? If we were to change this to just the .com, it's going to give us that one page, right? But since we're telling it that number one, we're receiving an XML file, and then you're going to extract all the URLs from your site. So that's what's awesome, and we're telling you kind of what kind of schema that is in there. But don't want to go too deep into that because our assistant is going to be able to tell us exactly what's happening after. Beautiful. So let's go back to our terminal. And to be able to run this file, we are actually going to we're going to CD onto that folder. So let's make sure that we're inside of the crawl for AI -expert. It could be the same terminal that you were in before. It doesn't matter. Yes, UCD. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. Yes, that code is under number 8 in the repository. So we're CDing on inside of that folder, right? Beautiful. Once we're there, we're gonna run this documentation scraper. So we're gonna go with Python crawl _crawl for AI _docs dot Python. And once we have that, let's press enter and we're going to see what's going to happen now. So this is a moment of truth, right? So it told me it found else. Okay, something happened here now, right? Now let's look into this error. Why did we get that? Give me a second. Did you guys get that error as well? Yep. Line 528. Did I modify something in here? Did you mean Markdown? Yes, I did mean Markdown. Markdown version 2. The attribute Markdown instead. Okay, so and where is this file? This is in my runners. Is deprecated and has been removed. Okay. Oh man, this is what happens when you use libraries and then they get deprecated. Let me look and see what following properties from Markdown, just Markdown. Yes, that's exactly what I meant, just Markdown. And code context, aware context settings. Yeah, okay, so sitemap, site pages, crawl for AI. Markdown v2. Give me 1 second. Let me just try to site.
You were
Te lo copié.
sí, a mí me gusta.
Yo lo mismo porque
No, a mí me ya le saca. Todos estos no estaban.
It didn't install them for you in there?
Same.
Well, let's let our beautiful AI here help us with this error. So it's telling us that there is a library that actually got deprecated and it got changed to now just Markdown. But I want to make sure that we are doing it correctly. Just did you get that error? Did you same error as me? Okay, beautiful.
Yes. So
Uh, what about yourself?
You know what? If I run the instruction in the shell, yeah, it runs.
If you run the instructions in the shell.
If I do
Oh,
this
okay.
thing.
Actually, let's run that again. Yeah, let's run the. One second, let me see if I run it here. Oh. Yeah, let me. Yeah, please, light on.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, it says powerful URLs to pro. Again, this.
Yeah.
Okay, so it started to fetch and display, and then it started getting the same error that did. That's it. That's really just showing me different word.
Oh,
And Victor's.
Yep. No. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so now let's try to figure this error out and see how we're gonna remove that library in there. New. On code. Just to. We were almost there. Come on. Fix me two issues, then click, then check if later on issues persist. Let me see what's happening here. Mhm.
When you're running that, It's growing. It's very virtual students. Sounds we didn't get the requirements. Yes. It's not really that I'm installing requests. Programs getting put its policies on us. But let's see how it helps. You just figure out what's happening.
Yeah.
And then I'll help you. Okay.
Did you change anything or you just trying?
Yes, so I believe that it could be an error with Playwright, but let's see if it actually, no, it's still the same. It's still stuck in here. So, okay, so it was not that. So Playwright is correct. So now we need to switch as that markdown. Its properties, because it's telling us that. Site packages. Yes, I'm just don't see where. Let me see. Okay,
Yeah.
you're getting the same one. Okay, good, good, good. At least we are on the same page on that. Site packages. Yeah, I can't find is this site packages file. Where is that? Models and markdown.
API name.
Look at it.
Let's see. This is line 206. Here, 206. Markdown. Okay, results. Version 2.0. Okay. Let's see that. Where are my terminals? No, PowerShell. Yes. Okay. Yep. So in that crawl for AI, I'm just gonna do it here for you guys. In that crawl for AI docs document in line 206, instead of saying result that markdown underscore v2, let's remove the v2 underscore and just have it be what you guys see here. Yep. Yes, let's remove that v2 underscore. Yeah. Right here, I have it here. V2 and the underscore,
Yeah.
that, and then just have to.
So take these two and
Yeah, right here.
that's it.
Yep. And then let's go back to your terminal. So we were using Markdown v2, which is a library that got deprecated. That means that sometimes there's some libraries that, oh, you know that all the time, that are not, they don't work anymore, right? They're not doing updates for them anymore. So they deprecate them and then they change them. And they don't, obviously, your project is not going to know what that happens. But we were able to see that the code was telling us that.
Running at the top again, please.
Yep. So now so I ran it, right? Sorry, after the error, I ran it and it began doing the scraping. It still told us that it found 44 URLs wrong, and it started doing the process of scraping, downloading, saving, scraping, downloading, saving, chunking the information. So beautiful. Yeah. So running for you. Awesome. So now what did we do now? So where's my chat? Where is my stuff already, right? So let's go back and I'm going to show you guys in our Supabase. If we go to our project and we go to the table editor and we go to my actual table, now we have information. So we scraped all of those 44 URLs. Yes, I went to the project, table editor, and then side pages, right? Our table. So once you guys open it, you guys see that now we have information there, right? So it scraped the information. It gave you the content. It created a summary. It gave you your embeddings. And these numbers basically mean the relationship of the information that is there to the comp, right? So that's how our chat is going to be able to know that if we mention, let's say, as an example, green somewhere in here, it's going to look at this embeddings, and somewhere in this code, green isn't there, and it's gonna match it. So that's how we're gonna bring that information. So now that we have that running, and I am sure maybe there's gonna be another error now when we run this other file, or something's gonna happen where we're gonna figure out because we have figured it out now. Now we're just gonna run, and we are actually. Let me go back to my list here. So we ran our crawler expert, right? Our docs expert, and this basically scraped that information and saved the embeddings already for us there. And now the final step, we're in the last step now. The final step is to run the chat UI. Hopefully it goes without errors, but like I said, this is the way that repos go. And this is the way that you guys are gonna build confidence to be able to do it. If you don't get it working today, tomorrow you will, right? If not, the next day. And that when you do get it to run, go get yourself a sweet, go get yourself a drink, whatever reward you like, go get yourself that, because that's a big achievement, right? And then from now moving forward, it's going to be better. So let's run that last step. Yeah, go ahead. Of course, yes.
So basically, we could create our website,
right?
And do a chat for that.
And then do a chat for that, right? The only thing that would change, and let me look at that at this file before we actually run the UI. This is what is actually creating the expert. And here we're telling it a system prompt. So that's the overall that you're providing this expert. And you're telling it, you're an expert at crawl for AI. A Python web crawling framework. So here's where you're telling it that. So let's say, for example, you do that for whatever website. You need to change
Hotel.
the hotel website. Beautiful. You're an expert at X Hotel. You are going to help people with hotel information, right? You need to explain that to them so that it starts giving you better answers. If not, it's going to give you very basic standard answers on the information that is there. And it's just going to give you like, hey, like if you say this, I'm going to give you that. But it's not going to give you insights. It's not going to know what type of expert it is, right? This is how we're letting it know that it's doing that. This script is actually what's going to be powering the UI of the chat, right? So let's go ahead and let's run that final step. So in that last step, we have Streamlit run, Streamlit UI.pl. That's how you run a Streamlit app, right? That's basically the code. So let's copy that. Come to our terminal again. Let's make sure that this is reset it. We're good here. We're going to copy and paste it, and we're going to click enter and run. and we get an error, right? When you guys see, and this is something that has happened to us before a lot today.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Is it the same one here that says no module main identic AI?
Training mode. One.
You see, so no browser open up for you.
Yeah, not
The same for, let's go back to the polish. And you're not inside of that folder. We need to be on inside of that folder so that we're running that application there.
Okay, we were running the script, right?
Yes, where you were running the script, correct.
We run that right here.
So let me go back to this really quick. So when you guys are doing this, make sure that you guys see how this is proper AI tutorial. We're inside of the proper AI expert folder. Because that file, run Streamlit UI, is inside of that folder. So make sure first that you're seeding into that file, into that folder. Do you understand? So look where you are in the folder structure.
Yes.
Right, but we're looking here. Go down, all the way down. So see how we're not inside of the file, into CD on tree. Proper AI dash expert. We're going inside of that. It's this one. Yes. Sure. Probably. Release that stuff there. Awesome. Now you're inside of that folder, right? And now just run the stream bit.
We run the screen already.
No, we have not.
We run this.
That was just a script, right? Now, we already did that. Now we don't need to run again.
It's after that step, then we one more time.
Yeah.
Oh, I got the same error before I ran it again. I corrected the error.
Identic or?
Yeah,
Okay, awesome. So we have seen this type of error before today. When you see no module named identity,
yeah.
it means that it's not finding the module. So what we usually have to do with errors like this, and I've gotten this error many times, is install that module,
Oh,
right? So we're gonna go back to our VS Code. Let me see. Let's do it on your function. Yeah, so that'll be it. Which could be about our
This was the one that we wanted to describe.
yeah. Can you just try it with one where you have your virtual environment running? See how? Okay, let's delete onto that folder.
To the lead person.
Yeah. Jose, so pip install.
I think that was, yeah, I did that and
Beautiful. And like I said, I have a very detailed README, right? And I still missed a couple of things. So sometimes you're gonna find that some
Okay, I guess this is streaming enough.
it shouldn't be. You should just already be there. Just you don't need a Streamlit account to be able to run this. Okay. It didn't open URL for you.
No.
So same here, right?
You just enter it and make it.
Yeah, so that shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be doing that. So now we're missing that module. So we're going to install. Hit install. My data AI.
Put it over here.
No, I did not. It's this one.
Right here. Pip install identic underscore AI.
Was it? Did you get it?
Yeah, I had a problem. I had to go out to the shell back in, and now I'm going back into the environment. So I go back here. The environment, right?
Yes, you didn't have the environment already. Yes,
No, it didn't. It didn't recognize.
it didn't recognize.
I had to leave the shell and come back.
Yeah, here we just need to activate it because you're
Okay.
okay. Just need to activate it. So just run the activate code.
Okay.
So you said we don't need an account?
No, you don't need an account with Streamlit to be able to do that. I have not seen that email, but you see how I just press enter and then it went straight through.
Just put it in the code.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And then.
Okay. Yeah. Now I'm there.
Now you're there, and now run that pip install identic.
So the question is,
No, I already did that. I did that in the VS Code.
Okay,
Now
beautiful.
I'm coming out here to run it with the VS Code. But to run it again.
It's Streamlit
Yeah.
run Streamlit.py Python.
the question is,
Yeah.
why you run it in the same place where, in the same PowerShell of terminal that I was running the script?
That is weird because you should always be running all of the commands inside of your environment because obviously that's how we are operating, right? So it's weird that it ran in that other place. So I'm not 100% sure.
In worst case scenario, would I have to just open another terminal, get to the point where I was?
Yes, yeah, but that should regardless run on a terminal that has your environment activated. No matter what, it should always run there, right? So now let's run that Streamlit run Streamlit UI dot Python file. Beautiful. Now we should get to this area.
Yeah.
You're there? Beautiful. Jose, it's not.
And
I know that you are gonna.
But what I am going to do is I'm also going to be recording a video. Going through this again. Now that I've seen all the things and just get my YouTube for me and you guys there. Okay. I'm gonna do it for sure. A video on this. So
Where do you get the name from? It's the
which one? I'm sorry.
name of agent.
The name of this over here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So all of this is in this file here. So if you go to the Streamlit UI, that's what we open, right? Oh, sorry. Let me go down here. All of that is here. Do you see this?
Yeah.
Async thing. And that's what you can modify. You can say, hey, this is a hotel.com
yeah.
agent and make it work, right?
Or empanada place agent, right? And it's an expert at empanadas, right? And it's gonna know it. So let's look at that test that Python file, right? Let's copy it. Go to our agent, paste that code, and tell it, explain to me this code line by line. So it's gonna go ahead, receive my actually, give a second.
Yes.
Oh, that's what it is? For real? Oh, okay. Sorry. Let me see. Beautiful. Okay. How can I assist you today? Explain this code. Awesome. So now I copied and pasted the code for the test file that we had, and I told it to explain it to me. And now it's literally telling me every single thing of it, right? What is this async IO? Import async IO. This line imports async IO, a library which is used for writing concurrent code using async and wait syntax. From crawl, import, these are imports for the async web crawler class, and it's a crawl for AI module, which is designed for asynchronous web crawling. What is asynchronous web crawling? Let me just even ask that. What is asynchronous web crawling? It would explain to us what that is, right? So this is how powerful this tool is, right? And now you can copy any of that code and tell me, hey, where should I be changing these things? Where am I going to be doing this? Explain to me. Even let's say, let's copy another of the codes, right? Let's go into that doc code, which is the one that we use to scrape it. Let's copy and paste that in there. And let's say, explain this code to me. And it's going to tell us every single thing about it, right? And step by step. And it's not only telling us because of the knowledge that OpenAI has, it's using the intelligence of OpenAI, but with the information from the documentation page. That's why this is so powerful. Go ahead.
You want to add to it?
Right.
How would you do that?
So number one, you already have an agent that can help you answer that question. But number two, it would just be you have to create a Python script that would upload that file to your Supabase account, right? But you will have to tell that script what are the things that you already have in your Supabase account, right? That ID, the URL, right? You need to tell it what information you want to be saved in there. But it will be the same process if you're just uploading a file. But that would be basically creating. Right, to create the chunks. So let's ask that and see what it says. If I just wanted to upload a PDF, let's say, the same way that we are scraping the web, how could I do that? And it's probably going to tell me, I'm just a crawl for AI expert. I don't know how to do that, but maybe it would give us a little bit of information of how we can possibly do that. Well, and right? And then it's going to give you the whole script to do that, right? And if you don't understand what is being said in the script, copy and paste and tell me, hey, tell me line by line what this is doing, right? But one of the most important things, and this I will let you know, PDF2, that is a library that helps you to upload PDFs, convert them into ways that this can then show.
Well, let's say you scrap an empanada website, then you wanted to add a complete PDF, guess the recipe or anything else extra
Right.
to scrap.
And that's what we're doing here. Yeah. And the cool thing, and then the awesome thing about embeddings and vector storage is that you don't even have to tell it what it is. You just need to upload the file and it would figure out what is inside of that file, right? It will know, hey, this is the recipe for the empanadas of this place. It will figure that out on its own. You don't even have to tell it that that's what you're doing.
So just to wrap it up.
Yep.
Stop recording.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Do you want to close it up?
Yeah. Well, I hope that today one showed you why it's important to practice and to learn these things, because you're going to learn errors are going to happen all of the time. You know, there's not going to be, every repo is not going to be clean. Every repo is not going to be super organized, right? So it's important to do that. Confidence, again, you need to fail to become confident. If you're not failing, then yeah, you're not working and you're not learning. If you know it all, I would say that's a bad thing, right? That's a really bad thing if you know it all. So keep failing. I am going to make a video of this same process for YouTube, so you guys can also follow it if you guys want to do this again, and that's so that you can follow it now. And I hope that we can do more of these for sure. Yes.
to start lower. Because I think like the issue that we have like with the virtual
Right.
VS Code and all that. So I think it might be good to say, okay, VS Code. If you have it installed, go here.
Right. Yes.
Why? So there's a way to either skip the step, or if you're new and you don't know it, then you have all those breakout steps. I think it would be good to have like.
Yeah.
install VS Code.
How to's of those things. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
VS Code, administrator things, separate little instruction box.
Right. Yeah, and that's a great idea. Thank you, Jose. For sure, I'm gonna do that so that we can explain the basics. I think that also knowing the basics can get us to this project way faster, right? And be able to make even more complicated things than this. This is already super powerful, but trust me, this compared to the other repos that are out there and what they can do does not compare to any other repos, right? That are out there that can do crazy things, agents that automatically post for you on Instagram without you touching anything, right? It's imagine not, you cannot imagine those things that are in there. So thank you so much, Jose, for letting me do this here. Thank you guys so much for coming, and I hope that you guys got something out of this. I know that you were not able to finish today, but you will finish it, and we will do it. Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome, guys.
Thank you
No
very
problem.
much, Christian.
Yes, I got you. I'm gonna open it for you here. Oh yeah, and let me email it to you actually. Not a problem at all.